Hey ladies, so I've got week 3 of the Functional Nutrition Ask Christy series. This week I've got a question from Krista, and her question was, how does functional nutrition relate to ADHD? What can I try to eliminate or incorporate to help with young teen ADHD symptoms? So this is truly becoming one of my absolute favorite topics. I've taken a bunch of webinars, I've read a book. I really am super interested in this topic as so many children and so many adults are really struggling with ADHD, and nutritional interventions and lifestyle interventions can be an absolute game changer to either replace medication or support medication. So there are plenty of people out there who do require a medicational route to help them with their symptoms, but they experience things like side effects and whatnot, and a functional nutrition approach can really help get you the best result with that medication. So truly one of my favorite topics, and by no means am I like the utmost professional in this yet, but here's what I'm going to give you a couple things that I've tried with people so far, and just give you an idea of like where you can go, things you can try. Okay, so first one, in terms of, you might ask, like in terms of eliminating things. So when anybody has symptoms or disease or something along those lines, the root cause, I've mentioned this before, is typically stress, toxins, adverse food reactions, infections, and nutrient imbalances. So two of the major things that can affect ADHD and cause their symptoms are nutrient imbalances and adverse food reactions. Okay, so 3 major foods that are highly researched and correlate with ADHD symptoms. Number 1, food dyes. So if you're on social media or watching the news, you know about the whole red dye ban just recently, and it was banned in our cosmetics, but it hasn't been banned in our food for 30 years. And there's still majorly more food dyes, yellow, green, blue, all of them. Food dyes, period, are proven to cause hyperactivity in anyone, not just children. So first and foremost, if you can try to eliminate food dyes in your child's diet, that will be extremely beneficial. The second 2 actual foods that show a major causation of ADHD symptoms, many people that have ADHD neurologically, so it's a neurological symptoms that they're experiencing, they actually have a sensitivity or an intolerance to casein, which is in dairy, and or gluten. So this is something that you can test for, and the majority of people that have ADHD that do test for the casein and gluten sensitivity, they don't experience typically any GI symptoms. So like no gas, no bloating, no diarrhea, no nothing. So you would never think food, but they are experiencing their adverse food reaction neurologically. Casein is a little bit stronger of a correlation with ADHD, but both casein and or gluten. Okay, so those 3 things food-wise are things you can try to minimize and pull out of your child's diet and see if they improve. The next thing is blood sugar stabilization. So lower sugar and more protein to balance that sugar. Okay, so like this, we all kind of know this in a way, right? Like if you give a kid sugar, they're gonna be hyperactive, and then they're gonna come down and they're gonna crash and they're gonna be cranky. Okay, but in terms of neurological symptoms and ADHD specifically, this is a game changer when it comes to attention and hyperactivity with your child. So making sure that every meal or snack that they consume contains a good source of protein. So increase their protein intake and steadily throughout the day, and also ensuring that they are not getting loads of added sugar. So things like juices and candies, those are going to make it very difficult for your child to focus. So if we can decrease the sugar and increase the protein and keep their blood sugar stable throughout the day, you're going to see major differences in the symptoms. Next thing that I mentioned was nutrient imbalances. So this one, I would encourage you to work with a professional in ADHD, a psychologist, a functional nutritionist like myself. But there are many nutrients that are shown and researched that people that are experiencing ADHD symptoms might be lacking. So just for an example, I forget what study it was that I read, but it was a major study, a large cohort, and I think it was something like 98% of all of the individuals that had ADHD were deficient in magnesium, which magnesium's in our food, it's easily supplemented, and it can just be a game changer. So I would always recommend that you work with a professional and test, don't guess, like don't just assume it could be magnesium and start giving your kids magnesium or without looking into it. Work with a professional and dig deeper on what they might have an imbalance or be lacking that could be contributing to their hyperactivity and attention symptoms. Last thing also is sleep. Okay, so a sleep schedule, routine, just like I talk about with you guys with adults, as adults. So a good sleep hygiene, try to work with your child in like a nighttime bedtime routine, wind them down at nighttime, put away the electronics about an hour before bedtime, maybe utilize blue light blocking glasses, some sort of calming routine, including a bath or anything like that, that's going to help them wind down in a consistent bed and a consistent wake time. So if their bedtime is lights out at 8:30, even on the weekends, try to hit that 8:30, and same thing in the mornings. Maybe in the weekend, let them sleep a little later if they want, but try to have them up within that hour, and getting them in a rhythm of their circadian rhythm of sleeping at the same times. That is going to be a game changer as well. All right, so again, this is like one of my favorite topics, not just for children, but for adults as well. Supporting medication treatments, but also sometimes replacing it if you can. There's a lot of quality testing in terms of adverse food reactions or nutrient imbalances that you can dive into to see if you can improve your ADHD symptoms that way. All right. If you want to move forward with testing any things out, if you guys can always go into the Balance app, click the support button and book a free 15-minute consultation. I'm happy to talk more one-on-one with you and see if functional nutrition might be a good help. All right. Have a good day. Bye.